So my objective with today's video is to show you how I visualize to earn my first $1 million. Now I've been able to duplicate that, crossing over $2 million. So there's 10 meditations I'm gonna be covering. Now I'm gonna try to keep this as simple because you might be thinking, DeAndre, that's a lot of meditations to cover. Don't worry, I'll make it simple. I'll make it easy for you to implement so that you can go to the next level. If you're anything like me, I was a guy that was trying many different businesses. I failed at least at this point now 15 different businesses. I tried drop shipping, Amazon FBA, YouTube channels, YouTube automation, affiliate marketing, network marketing, right? I was doing all these things and nothing was working for me. I was working hard. I was working 6-7 days a week, working 10-hour days. I was buying courses. I was watching YouTube videos. I was reading books, but nothing was working for me. And it wasn't until I met Bob Proctor and became a consultant with him back in 2020 that everything changed for me. And after studying with him, I went from 0 to 100,000 a month in 45 days with the same knowledge and the same work ethic I had when I had failed with the other 15 businesses. And it really got me thinking that there was something going on in the subconscious mind that I didn't fully understand when I was younger, but now I am able to do that. So by this end of this video, I'm gonna be teaching you exactly what to do to implement it to your life so you can walk away and be satisfied. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first one here. By the way, how do you guys like this new setup here? I got the camera here and I'm going to be getting on the whiteboard for you guys. But first thing I want to talk about is let's talk about meditation. Why do we want to talk about meditation? Well, actually, let me get to the whiteboard really quick because I need to give you a synopsis. I'm assuming you watch me for the first time because guess what? At the time of recording, I have 20,000 subscribers, but I'm acting as if I have 1 million because that's where my frequency is. So I have to act as if you're meeting me for the first time. So what does meditation actually do? So what meditation, why we're using it, I'm not using it to be a monk, okay? I'm being completely honest. What I find myself to be a businessman that's using spiritual tactics to kind of bend the reality to what I want and kind of live life on my terms. So that's how I see it. I don't see myself being a monk. But meditation is one of the best practices to get into the subconscious mind, which we'll talk about in a second. So why meditation? Because if I can teach you step 1, step 2, and all 10 meditations, which I'll cover here for you in a second, so don't go anywhere. But if you don't know why we're using it or why or which one to use, it's not going to really matter. Here we are. This top part, hopefully you guys can see this. This top part, this is the conscious mind. The conscious mind only controls 5% of our results. Our conscious mind is our thinking mind, our intellectual mind. It's the mind we went to school with. It's the mind that we use to gather information. Then we have the subconscious mind here, which controls 95% of our results. Now, for some of you, this is not new, but I have to get this into you so you understand what we're doing here. It's not just about meditation and wah-wah and woo-woo. This is actually science here. What we need to do is we need to penetrate the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind does not understand English and Spanish. What it understands is vibration. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, you want to understand frequencies and vibrations. Even Einstein said, if you really want to understand this world, think of it as vibrations. So if we want to go over here and reprogram the subconscious mind, what we're going to have to do is speak the language of vibration. Now, that's not English, that's not Spanish, that's done through our feelings. It's done through images, which penetrates the subconscious mind. We're going to do it with feelings, and then we're going to do that repetitiously to amplify it so that we can project to the material world, the 3D world, the matrix, the simulation, what exactly that we want. The medium or the vehicle in which we can do that projection and speak the level of vibration is done through meditation. Okay? So what we're going to want to do is center our mind, center our hearts so that we can project to the outside world. That's why we're doing these meditations. That is a synopsis of it. So let's start with the 10 meditations that we're going to be covering right here. I'll give you a brief breakdown of what each of them do so that you can go to the next level. And so, man, you know, funny little story here. How I actually stumbled across meditation was on accident. So as I was working with Bob Proctor for those 2 years, he would say things in the program such as get emotionally involved, which I didn't really know what that meant. What does that mean? Like he would say relax. He never really openly said meditation. And if he did, it was rare. But what I would do during this period, the first 100K month, I guess you can say, back in April 2020, literally coming up on a year now, 5 years now, I was sitting on a couch. I was in Medellin, Colombia. I had $1,000 in my bank account, and I would do my studies. I'd make my YouTube videos. Right? I was doing things to try to get my clients in during this period, right? And I would stumble across these meditations because I would want to take naps throughout the day because it was COVID. I wasn't able to leave my apartment in Colombia. So 2 to 3 times a day, I would sit on this couch and I'd visualize myself having a fully booked out calendar. Because for me at the time, understanding now what I'm going to teach you, which is the subconscious mind, how it communicates with it with the meditation, I started to realize that if I as a coach had a fully booked out calendar, then that meant that I had clients. So what I did was I would visualize myself 2 to 3 times a day with feeling. I would imagine myself, here's the important part, I would imagine myself taking an action of scrolling down my phone, looking at the amounts of appointments that I was going just on Google Calendar. I would just be scrolling in my mind, and I would do this 2 to 3 times a day, not really knowing what I was doing. But here's the important part. I would put on a little bit of meditation music, and then I would fall off into a sleep-like state. I'm not going to be covering brain waves in this particular video, but I was falling off into something called theta state. I was going from beta, which is like waking where I'm at right now, where we're all at, beta active brain, to a theta sleep-like state where my subconscious mind would go to sleep, my subconscious became more active, and so the images that I was visualizing became more real and became more penetrable to the subconscious mind. So here I am 2 to 3 times a day visualizing what it would look like to have my calendar fully booked out, and I kid you not, 7 days later, you guys can maybe see this, a lot of glare, but that ends up being my calendar. You can see the date right there at the top. Look at that. That is exactly what ended up happening. Fully booked out from with only $1,000 in my bank account, visualizing this exact scene. 7 days later, it shows up, and I make my first $100,000 in 14 days from starting my meditation. As you can see, that said April 14th. So literally, it's going to be 5 years in about a month from now. So that is why we're going to use it. This is how I first stumbled across this, and why I still do this to this day, 5 years later, and why I teach it to my clients. So without further ado, let's get into the first one here. First meditation is a gratitude meditation. By the way, we're going to start from the softest levels of meditation down to the deepest, most subconscious, mind-bending meditations that I do. So we'll start with the easiest one. So let's talk about a gratitude meditation. Gratitude meditation is very, very important. The way I like to say gratitude meditation is the practice of mindfulness and being able to calm your mind. It's your ability to put your hand over your heart and give thanks to God, give thanks to the universe, whatever you believe. And this is such an important part. The connection between God and source and you in this physical earth is done through gratitude. Do not sleep on this. By the way, every meditation that I do, whether I talk about quantum leap, quantum jumping, Hemisync, any of these meditations, I always start it with a gratitude meditation. Even if it's only 10 seconds or 30 seconds or a minute, I always incorporate gratitude meditation because the channel of me being connected from heart and mind to my creator is widened. The channel is widened by giving thanks, by giving gratitude to my heart for working 24/7 for me and beating my heart. Thanking God for my creator for giving me the ability to have health and wealth. Guys, this is such an important meditation that I highly recommend you incorporate to each of these. Start each of these meditations with this gratitude meditation. Way you can do this, put your hand over your heart. Do with me right now, even if we just do this for 5 seconds. Hand over your heart. Let's just take a deep breath in. Go ahead and release. And I just want you to feel your heart. Feel your heart pumping in your chest. Give thanks to your heart. It's been working 24/7, even without your acknowledgement and attention. It's been working all these years for you. As you have your hand over your heart, go ahead and expand that awareness to outside of you, to your creator, and give thanks to your creator, to God, to the universe, whatever you want. Just give thanks for your health. Give thanks for your apartment, your car, your phone, your ability to even hear me right now, your health. And thank Lord, your creator, for the eyes to see, the ears to hear, so you can see the wisdom and have the courage to act upon it. Okay? Now go ahead and join me back. Now notice your feeling states have altered, right? You went from whatever you're focusing on, because you're watching this video because you want to scale your business to the next level. You want to go from the 6-figure level to the 7-figure level. You want to have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, like whatever it is. You're trying to do something. But in that moment, we got our focus and attention off that thing that you wanted so much and just give thanks to where you're at and who you want to become. So that's the first meditation that we'll cover, which is gratitude meditation. Next one is visualization. Visualization is the first meditation that I still do on a daily basis, and it's going to be the first one that we're really going to start getting into some mind-bending activity. Now, you may have heard of visualization, but you need to hear like the way I'm teaching it, because if you're not earning $1 million, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you probably earn less than $1 million, or you're around the $1 million per mark, mark. If you're making $1 million per month, hey, congratulations, right? But most of you are probably under $1 million or around the $1 million mark, right? So use these things and apply it so that you can get results. Because I literally just visualize myself to $1 million, and it actually happens. Okay, so visualization is a style of meditation that involves creating mental images or scenarios to help you achieve your inner peace. Okay, the way I like to say this is that visualization is a masculine energy. And the reason I say that, and we'll talk about regular meditation in a minute, but when you're doing a visualization, you're playing the images of what you want. I have talked about this many times on the YouTube channel. We have a what we call a magnificent obsession. We're going after something that we want, right? I've told you guys this before, that what you want to do is get very clear on the fantasy that you want to create. Write it on a goal card. This is your magnificent obsession. Write it on a goal card like this. Carry it with you and see yourself acting like that person. Assume you're that person. Law of assumption. Assume that you're that person now. Creation is already finished, meaning that whatever you can see yourself doing is already created. It's already done. All you have to do is tap into that frequency. We talked about that on the last video when we talked about Bob Proctor, I think yesterday's video. Okay, so what we need to do is get that magnificent obsession in an image, because what I've talked about at the very beginning is that the subconscious mind only understands images backed by feeling done repetitiously to amplify it. So if we're not speaking in images and feelings, or vice versa, you're not communicating to the subconscious mind. So the first meditation that we're really going to get into to start speaking to that subconscious mind is visualizing what it is that you want in the present tense, in the frequency, as if it's done now. The great I am. It's very important that you do it in the present tense. I call this a masculine energy, because you're telling the subconscious mind, you're telling the Father, you're telling the universe what exactly it is that you want. Drive the Bugatti, have the girlfriend, have the $1 million, right? Whatever it is that you want. Place yourself in that state now so that you can live it. We live in basically two worlds at the same time. We live in an inner world and we live in an external world. Hear me out here. So go ahead, and I've done this experiment before. Okay, but go ahead and I want you to look at your current scenario where you're watching me right now. Okay, like in front of me, I have the camera. I have this beautiful view of Bangkok, Thailand. I got my laptop. I got my Starbucks right here, right? It's nice 11 a.m. in the morning. So I'm seeing this with my eyes, all right? So take a look at your current environment. Now go ahead and close your eyes. I don't want you to play that same exact scene again. Look at the coffee. Look at the view. Look at the computer. Look at the thing you're looking at in your mind. Now join me back. You see, you saw the image with your physical eyes, your animalistic frequency, but then you also saw it with your imagination, which is your spiritual frequency, the consciousness, the great I am, your great attention, the great thing that you can use to bend the matrix to your reality, so you can see the world from two different perspectives. The only thing is that the outside world has been projecting inside of you, causing you to have feelings of lack and limitation, and be disconnected from the Father, be disconnected from your true creation, because that's what the big elites want you to do. They want to separate you from your true being, not letting you understand that you are a creator, that you are the source of divine divinity that can bend the matrix. They don't want you to know that. That's why you're on this YouTube channel right here, to learn from me. Yes, sir. So then what we want to do is make that inner image more powerful so we can project it to the outside world. So the visualization is a practice where we can project that subconscious mind, the image of what we want, so that we can go to the next level, okay? You're placing it, you're forcing it, you're not gonna say forcing it, but you're playing it, and that's why I call it a masculine energy. So now let's go ahead and let's go into a traditional meditation, okay? So we covered gratitude meditation, we covered visualization. Now let's talk about a traditional meditation. I call a traditional meditation the practice that involves the clearing of the mind. I call it a feminine energy because, on the contrary of the visualization, where you're playing the movie, you're seeing the car, you're driving the car, you're doing it, right? You're showing it what you want. In the area of the regular meditation, it's a practice of calming the mind. It's a practice of being calm. It's a practice of being one. It's a practice of becoming centered. It's where you're not focusing on the external world and you just want to become one with yourself. It's where you imagine a freeway. Imagine yourself looking at a freeway, and you're seeing all these thoughts just running through the freeway, aka all these cars just passing by, and you're just observing the freeway. You're just observing the thoughts, not getting too attached to one car and watching it go back and forth, but you're just letting it flow. It's the practice of just becoming centered again. And so through the practice of this, not only are you able to become calm, I call it a feminine energy because you're able to receive in a state of meditation. Whereas in the visualization, you are telling it what you want it to do. In a traditional meditation, we're receiving and we're downloading information from our higher self. We're downloading ideas from the source. We're downloading beliefs. We're downloading images. We're downloading from the quantum space because we are one with that quantum space. This is going to tie in a little bit later when we get into quantum jumping meditations, when you start to receive information. But I wanted to make a distinct difference between the two, because you want to know when to do those different ones, right? You want to know when to do a meditation, when to do a visualization, when to do these different things, because all of them play a different part in the game here. So I actually want to take a little break here and tell you guys something. I don't want you to get overwhelmed with the amount of meditations we're covering here. I want you to see this as like MMA, right? UFC, for those of you that watch the fighting. When you are a UFC fighter, you have to know multiple different plays, right? Multiple different styles of fighting. You have to be able to punch. You have to be able to block. You have to be able to know how to kick. You have to be able to do groundwork and wrestle and fight on the ground and block, right? There's different skills that you need to learn. For example, you might be good at the boxing part, but as soon as your opponent gets you on the ground, you suck and you get knocked out, right? That's an example of knowing different plays and getting good at all of these and knowing when to use them so you become proficient at all levels and you become a professional fighter. It's the same thing with meditations. Becoming a professional meditator is knowing when and where to use these meditations and how to implement into your life. Because, for example, you might be overwhelmed and you don't know to do a gratitude meditation versus a visualization versus a traditional meditation versus a Hemisync. Like, knowing when and where to places is the difference maker between you earning $1 million and you being stuck trying all these meditations over the last couple of years, watching all these YouTube videos, and you being stuck. So I wanted to go ahead and tell you and preface that it's a very important part. So we cover the gratitude meditation, when and when to use it. We cover the visualization. We cover traditional meditation. Let's get into the next one, a walking meditation. I absolutely love this one. And this is where I'm actually going to get back on the whiteboard because this is a nice little thing I got. So here we are. Remember, we have the conscious mind. We have the subconscious mind. We have the body. Okay, I'm going to draw this in red. So what we're able to do is, let me finish this. What we're able to do is in our conscious mind, we can form an image of what we want. I drew that in red. We're going to use our imagination to form exactly what it is that we want here. We talked about this. What we then do is we need to hold it in our conscious mind using our will. Will is one of our mental faculties or one of our spiritual faculties that separates us from all the living creatures, right? Some of the, I don't want to get too deep into it, but we have intuition, will, reason, perception, memory, and imagination. These are different mental faculties that we're able to use. So here we are, we form an image, we use our willpower to hold it in our conscious mind. Because a lot of people, especially you've gotten out a notebook like this, right? I just did one yesterday. You get out a notebook like this, you get out a pen, and you write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm a millionaire, now that I have this, now that I have that, right? You write this stuff down, but then it doesn't happen, right? You've been doing this for years, so stop kidding yourself. You gotta start to wake up. That just because you can form the image with a piece of paper and a pen here, you have to hold it here in the conscious mind long enough. Many of you guys don't hold your image long enough for it to manifest. You're switching it every 2 weeks, every 2 months because you're not seeing it manifest. That's why it's not working for you. Use your willpower to hold it in your conscious mind, but then what we need to do is we need to plant it into the subconscious mind, which is what we're talking about here. But then the final part, which is where this walking meditation comes into play, particularly with the walking meditation, the body here, which is the smaller part, it operates on vibration. And most importantly, vibrational action. Whatever vibration that you plant into the body, known as feeling, is a vibration that is then transmuted to the actions that you take, and those actions then eventually control your results. That's supposed to be an R. Control your results, okay? And so what we need to do here in this case is with the walking meditation, it's the first meditation where we're actually going to, let me get my blue pen. This is the first meditation where we're going to take our image that we formed in our conscious mind. We're going to get the feeling behind it based on the other meditation. Then we're going to actually transmute that feeling straight to the body, and we're going to start to walk we're going to start to walk like we're that person already. It's such an important meditation because it's the first one where we take this image and we start walking as if we're that person already. It's a really, really cool one. I learned this from Dr. Joe Dispenza. And every time I do a walking meditation, I always find myself crying. I always find myself getting so emotionally involved in my meditations. I typically do them on a treadmill, and it's the first time because all these other meditations I'm covering in the past and the one I'm going to cover here in a second, they're all done while you're sitting down, while you're in a sleep-like state, and that's great. But imagine if you were to wake up and start walking like that person, walking like the millionaire, walking like the famous content creator, walking like that person. That is a big difference that you're able to do when you start doing the walking meditation. Okay, so we cover walking meditation. Now let's talk about the next one here, which is a self-talk rampage. Guys, this thing has completely changed my life. And I remember the first time I heard a self-talk rampage, I listened to this, and my guys, this is me being 4.5 years into studying this. And I listened to this self-talk rampage, and it was the first time I realized that I never talked to myself in this certain way. A self-talk, right? Well, first of all, what is self-talk? Self-talk is how you talk to yourself. It's that conscious voice, that wild horse that just comes running around throughout the day. Like, what are you thinking about right now? Are you distracted? Are you on TikTok right now? Are you on your phone? Some people have left already because they have a TikTok mentality and they wonder why they can't even sit here and earn their first $1 million because they're all over the place. They need a dopamine detox. Right? So that voice that's telling them to go get distracted or leave the video because it's not that exciting and TikTok explosion brain rot, that's the self-talk. We need to hone in that self-talk and we need to train it. But sometimes it might be a little bit more difficult. So what we do is we use an external meditation, which, by the way, this is the only meditation that you can do in beta brainwaves, meaning you can do it while making your coffee, while brushing your teeth, and that's typically when I do it. I wake up. After I do a little meditation, I go ahead and I brush my teeth and I listen to a self-talk meditation. It's the only one, I'll repeat one more time. It's the only one that you can do in a beta brainwave, meaning active walking around, making your coffee, brushing your teeth. That's the first one and the only one that you can do while in this state. And the reason being is because what you're doing is you're listening to certain affirmations that are done in a very specific way, which I'm not going to cover in this video. By the way, I cover all these with my clients inside. So if you want actual which meditations I do to have earned, 100K months and $2 million in the process, then obviously you just click the first link in the description below, book a call with me, and we'll talk about getting you in our coaching program. But some of these you can just find yourself or create yourself. Remember, this is 5 years of knowledge I'm putting into this video, right? But with the self-talk rampage now, it's the first time that I listened to this and it changed my life because I realized I didn't talk to myself like this. It would say things like, your business is growing. Clients are loving your product. They're doing this, they're doing that. Money's flowing to your life. It's different from listening to a Bob Proctor affirmation. This is not an affirmation. It's a rampage. You're getting hit with left and right, a continuous line of self-talk for 9 to 10 minutes. And it's not repeating. It's just a new affirmation. It's like a new script that's being written to you, and it changes your life. This is the only one that I still listen to this day, every single day, that I haven't created for myself. And I just love the way this is done. I give it to my clients, and I tell you not, I think that this is one of the biggest reasons that my YouTube channel first blew up, scaled it to 100,000 a month, and it got there. Because everything that I would listen to in this particular self-talk rampage became true. So I give this to my clients to go ahead and get it done. But I highly recommend, and I know you probably have never done this one before, but I highly recommend integrating a self-talk meditation. All right, now let's get into the next meditation here. By the way, guys, how do you like this video? That's a lot. I know it's a lot. You're like taking notes. You're like, how do I implement this and like this and like that? This is more of like a what video, like what to do, how to do it. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. But I really do enjoy this. Like, I've started to realize that for me to really have success and expand my YouTube channel, expand my business, expand my clients, I really need to live it, which I do. But I really just honed in on that. Being able to pour into my own cup so that I can pour into your cup and actually live this and you guys can feel it. One thing I always say is not what you do, is how you do it. It's not what you say, is how you say it. It's like I can be saying this, or another person can say the same exact things as me, but they don't believe it. It's not the same frequency. And what I transmit to you through this camera, through this audio, you can feel me. And that is because I actually live it. where some people, they may not. One thing I really highly recommend, whether you're watching me or another YouTube person, is whoever you're learning manifestation from or mindset, make sure they have a 7-figure plus business. Because if you're really a mindset coach and you're running a business, you're teaching other people, shouldn't you be making at least $1 million a year doing it? If not, then you're not really doing it right. And how can you teach that to somebody else? So you're teaching a broken system to other people, like that doesn't work. So whoever you're listening to, make sure that they're earning a nice 7-figure income so that you can learn from them. Because one thing I learned about coaching and mentorship in general that I've spent, probably $300,000 on now my entire life, is that whenever you hire a coach, you're not going to be able to learn 100% of the things from them. Okay, because it's just the natural a barrier of learning information. It's just like dispersion and delusion, meaning, let's just say you learn from a coach, you might be able to learn, say, up to 70% of what they teach you, because they just can't teach you everything. And so maybe you get a grasp of 70%. And so by hiring different coaches and stuff, you start to stack on different skills, but you're not able to one-for-one transfer your information as a coach to another student. You always get a smaller percentage because of that disillusion or transmission through the teaching process, okay? Anyways, that was a nice little rant. So let's talk about the next one, and one of the most important ones. Guys, by the way, they're all very important, and I do all of these throughout my day. I probably spend about an hour throughout my entire day, first in the morning, maybe in the afternoon and at night, doing these different styles of meditation. But this one is one of the most important. I might rank this. Let me see. I have a couple more meditations to cover with you. I might rank this as one of the top 1 or 2, and this is called a sleep meditation. Okay, here's how this works. Let's go back to the subconscious mind. So remember how this works. The conscious mind, which is operating on a beta brainwave, okay, meaning it's active, it's like what you're using right now. It's when it's the highest frequency, highest activity. Your mind is working to keep you alive, working and thinking about breakfast and what you're going to do today. That is your beta brain. Okay? So what we want to do is when we do a sleep meditation, let's get back to our stick figure here. When we're doing a sleep meditation, what's actually happening is, well, just like it sounds like, we go right off to sleep. So when we go to sleep, it's the only time that our conscious mind goes to sleep. The subconscious mind is still active. It's always working. Think about this. Your blood is still circulating as you're sleeping. You're still breathing as you're sleeping. That is your subconscious mind still working in your body, okay? So the conscious mind will go to sleep, but the subconscious mind stays active. It's still working. The only difference now is that you've lowered your brain waves. When you're actively up, you're in a, actively working like where you're at right now, you're in a beta brainwave. As you start to go off to sleep, you hit different lower frequencies and you end up dropping down to delta brainwaves, which is a sleep-like, deep, slow frequency, slow hertz style of brainwave, okay? But what you're able to do is when you're sleeping, what you want to do is you want to pass off, I'll do it in red, you want to pass off that image that we have created. Remember, we talked about having a magnificent obsession. We talked about having this goal card right here, right? You want to pass this image backed by feeling. Don't forget the feeling part. You need both. You need the image backed by feeling. And what you're going to do is right before you go off to bed, like literally minutes, like you can't make love with your partner. You can't be on TikTok and it's not going to work. You literally have to do it right before you go to bed. Is you take that image that you formed in your conscious mind and you start to play it in your subconscious as you're drifting off to sleep. Now, you may have heard this popularized by Neville Goddard in The Law of Assumption and falling to sleep to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is probably where you heard it. Another way you may have heard it is the ladder technique. Okay, falling asleep, imagine yourself walking a ladder. I did this technique and I climbed the ladder twice. First within 24 hours, the second time within a week. And I realized, am I just going to climb ladders my whole life? Or am I going to start to apply this to go to the next level? So this is where I started right before bed. And even my girlfriend Vanessa knows this. I put on my headphones. There's a certain style of meditation song that I listen to right before bed. Because there are certain sound waves that you need to listen to that help. These are things that I do give to my clients. And so there's a certain meditation that I listen to right before going off to sleep because it helps me. You may have tried this before, but you find out that you end up, falling asleep too fast and you didn't actually planted to the subconscious mind. And that was a problem I had for many, many years until I found out these certain audios that allowed me to not only see it with certain methodologies that I could actually fall off to sleep listening to it, and it actually started to work. I failed for many years until I learned that, okay? So you take that image, you plant it to the subconscious mind by seeing yourself operating the action, feeling it as you're drifting off to sleep. So the sleep-like meditation was popularized by so many different styles of people. If we even study Einstein, during the period while he was creating all these amazing inventions, he used to do this thing where he would lay on a little couch, he would have a silver ball that he would carry in his hand, and he would try to drift off to sleep, right? He would try to go from beta down to delta or even theta state. And anytime he got too deep into his sleep, he'd fall asleep and he would drop the ball and wake him back up. So his objective was to fall into the subconscious mind, which is known as theta, so he can pull ideas, pull answers, plant into the subconscious mind what he wanted without falling asleep. That's the battle. That's the word I want to use. Positive words. That's the skill. That's the trick right there, is being able to do that. And so he would do that, and that's how he pulled out information. So everybody from Einstein down to Neville Goddard, down to Bob Proctor, down to the Silva method. If you ever studied the Silva method as well, he states the same thing. Whatever meditation and all these different great thinkers and stuff, they all came down to the same thing. Whatever you fall asleep to, whatever image and feeling that you fall asleep to as you drift off to sleep, your subconscious mind will begin to marinate on that for up to 8 hours as you sleep. When you wake up, the work has been done. Go in faith. Go in faith that the work that you have planted into the subconscious mind has not gone in vain, and it is working in your favor. So fall asleep to the feeling of how you're doing that. Now, once again, I said I have certain audios that I do teach to the clients, but I'm just teaching you overall what to do. Okay, next one here. Oh, I know you guys are liking this. By the way, if you're here right now, still watching this video, go ahead and drop in the comments below what's your favorite meditation I've covered so far, and I'll reach out to you and I'll give you a free 30-minute coaching session one-on-one. Because we're now about 30 minutes into this video. A lot of people may have left already. Hopefully, a lot of them have stayed because it's a very engaging video. I'm just going to put out that frequency. A lot of you are still here. But if you're still at this point, drop a comment below. What's your favorite meditation I've covered so far? What's the one that most intrigues you? What's the one? And give me a little bit of insight. I'll reach out to you in a couple of days, and I will choose somebody in the comment section, and I'll give you a free one-on-one call with me, okay? All right, let's get into the next one. One of my favorite ones, the one that I've kind of coined here. By the way, I didn't make up this stuff. I'm just observing this, and I organize it into a system, right? Because this is what I do every day. Quantum jump meditation. I know I have some of these quantum jump guided meditations on my YouTube channel, but I really love this one. And the first way I'm going to do this is, what is a quantum jump meditation? Well, let me explain this one to you, okay? This is my favorite one. We use this meditation here if we want answers to a question, if we want to connect to our higher self, if we want to build some certain beliefs, if we want to connect to the higher version of ourselves. This is when we will use this particular meditation. Okay, so why and how does this work? Okay, can you guys see me on camera? Yes, you can. Okay, how and why does this work? Well, the first step, let this represent time here on the bottom axis, the x-axis, and let space or frequency, let that represent the y-axis, okay? So let's go ahead and let's draw this in, we'll keep it on black. So let's just say right now, this is your frequency 1, okay? Call it frequency x. This is your current state right now, okay? This is your current state. This is where you live. This is how much money you make. This is how many followers you have on social media. This is your current frequency that you're operating from. Remember, we think in frequencies. That's known as our paradigm and our programming. So that is your current reality right here at x. The simple fact that you can see yourself earning what you want to earn, living the life that you want to live, the simple fact that you can see yourself at that frequency means that it's already finished, that it's already created. Because remember, creation's already finished. All we are doing is taking thought and impressing it across the formless substance. Even in Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles would say that there's a formless substance that all things are created from, and it penetrates all living things, all the world, and that we're all created from one source, and that it is a thinking substance, and that we can use our mind to impress upon that upon that formless substance and begin to create what it is that we want, and it will transmute into our physical form. Another way that we can say this is that the law of perpetual transmutation, which states that whatever image we hold in our mind, backed by feeling, and do it repetitiously, we will then hold in our hand. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. That's what we're talking about when we say this Y frequency, meaning this is your dream. This is your magnificent obsession up here. And simultaneously, as you are right now living on this frequency, there's a version of you that feels living at this frequency. Does that make sense here? Now, here's what we call a quantum jump now. Quantum jump is time and space. We're going to draw in red. Time is going by, right? Time can be days, weeks, minutes. Time is not even real. It's a human thing that we're experiencing, but God doesn't have 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Time is an infinite loop, right? But in this particular graph here, we need time because that's how, that's the only thing that kind of holds us down as human beings in this, quantum realm. Here we are going through time and space. Simultaneously, there's a version of us going here at the higher version. So what we want to do is, imagine if we were to say tap into this higher frequency. What if we were to say tap into that frequency? But you're not going to tap into that frequency in your physical form. Like, it's impossible because we're already living in this realm. But you can do it through your conscious mind. I want you to understand me. Hear me out here. Actually, I'm going to sit down so y'all can hear me on this one. Thought and conscious mind is the only entity, the only frequency that is more powerful than everything else. Meaning, your thoughts can perceive gravity and time. Don't believe me? Let's take a book. For example, take Think and Go Rich, or I have Science of Getting Rich right here on my desk. These gentlemen have written these books, some of them over 100 years ago. They put their thoughts on paper, and I can read his thoughts, getting the chills, I can read his thoughts and start to think like this man who passed away over 100 years ago. Thought frequency is the only form of frequency that can project through time and space, and most importantly, gravity. This is how powerful thought is. It's the highest form of frequency. So when we come back over here, consciousness is the only known way that we can project ourselves here to this higher frequency. And we're going to do this via this particular meditation. So as this 20-minute, for example, let's just call it a 20-minute quantum jump meditation. As this material of 20-minute meditation comes by, we're going to then project or pull our conscious mind out of our body through certain meditations. And by the way, you need practice. You can try it yourself, but guys, I've been doing this for a long time. I have 500 plus clients that I've been helping them with this. And if you want help with this, just click the first link in my description and hop on a call with me and we'll talk about it. It's not cheap, but I'll teach you how to do this so you can scale your business to the 7-figure level, right? So here we are. You come to this higher frequency here, and then now you're going to go through time and space here. So here's now, you're going to start to ask yourself questions. You're going to start to download ideas. You're going to start to download beliefs. You're going to start to download plans. You're going to start to download images, right? You're going to start to download different things at this higher frequency that you never would have got living back here. Does that make sense? Because of course you're not going to think and feel and act and believe like this person because you're not there yet. If you did, you would have it already. That's the point. So as you quantum jump to this higher version of yourself and you're going through time and space in 20 minutes, you're doing it in a higher frequency as you're able to download these ideas, these beliefs, these plans. And so what happens is you're living from a higher state. You're downloading things that you never would have gotten before. Then after that time, say 20 minutes, you come back to your material world, which is your physical world. You open up your eyes and you're then able to go through time and space here. But now what stays with you? The images, the beliefs, the plans, the ideas, those stay with you as you come back to your physical world because you downloaded them from a higher frequency, the higher version of yourself. So now as you come into the physical world, you're able to implement those new beliefs, those new ideas into your life, and that's how you quantum leap. This is how I've been able to scale 2 of my businesses from 0 to 100,000 a month in less than 45 days by myself with less than like 4, softwares and tools, a script, a product to sell, a Zoom link, and a way to collect payment. That's it. And I've been able to scale myself to $2 million doing just that. Not even having all the structure and funnels and email lists. I don't have an email list. I just built a funnel for the first time. Now I spent $15,000 for somebody else to build it for me. Like, I've done it without all of this stuff because what I do is I jump to the higher version of myself, download information, and I implement it, and my business just takes off. It's such a powerful meditation that if you implement it into your life, it can really take you to the next level. Luckily for you guys, I have quantum jump meditations for free on my YouTube channel. So they're under the playlist section, and I have some in there. But it's a very, very powerful one. Some of you will have some great success with that. I highly recommend it, and it'll be a really, really fun one. Okay, now let's get into the next meditation here. And you see, we're starting to get into some like very crazy meditations, right? So let's get into the next one here, which is a Hemisync meditation. Now, I really, really love this one. Now, where the Hemisync meditation comes into play is where we study the gateway process. Hemisync gateway process by the Monroe Institute. So let me give you a quick little story about this. So the gateway process, I have the document somewhere, I think, in my studies over there. There was a period when I was in Colombia, and business wasn't doing too well, and I had a lot of time in my hand a couple years ago. And I stumbled across the gateway process, and it was the CIA documents, and all this stuff really interests me. So the CIA, back in, I believe it's the 70s, don't quote me, 70s or 80s, during the Cold War. So 80s, I guess, right? 70s, 80s. That's my history lesson, right? They wanted to see if the human being could project his consciousness to other parts of the world and download information, also known as spy work or espionage. So the CIA put millions of dollars worth of study behind a certain institute to see if they could control or view and spy work in Russia during the Cold War. And they another one was it was the gateway process. What was the other one, guys? What is that? What is the Ultra? Mind Ultra? Something like that. Anyways, but they ended up releasing the document in 2003, 2007, something like this. Don't quote me. Anyways, this is about 2 years ago that I went through this. Give me some slack here. I just practiced the meditations, the theory and stuff. I studied that a couple years ago. Anyways, so as reading this, we found out that the brain can actually synchronize, because we have 2 parts of our brain, 2 hemispheres of our brain, a creative side and a theoretical side. And most of the time, like 99% of the time, they're acting out of harmony. They're discoherent, right? They're incoherent, rather. So one's going this way, one's going that way, and it's almost like a flashlight. It's all over the place. But what we're able to find is that after 15 years plus of studies, monks were able to synchronize both parts of their brain, and then when they would visualize or download information, it would be more powerful, more amplified. But through the gateway process, through the CIA research, we found out through certain sound waves, we were able to do the same exact thing. That we were able to synchronize both hemispheres of our mind to take it from a flashlight to a laser, and that whatever we'd visualize, it would become more powerful and amplified. And the way we did this is with sound waves, called frequency following patterns, meaning the brain will start to listen to a certain frequency, and it will start to mimic that frequency. It's a really weird phenomenon that the scientists were able to find out. So what does that mean for us? Well, remember I talked about the different brain waves here? Let's go to red. We have different brain waves that will alter your state of frequency as you're going into meditation, okay? So let's talk about what those look like. Well, the first one, and we'll start from the highest, most active, work our way down. The first one is, I gotta draw it bigger so you guys can see it. The first one is where you guys are at right now, and that is beta. Beta. Beta is the most active, one of the most active. There's another one right above it, but I'll cover that in a minute. Beta is active, working, going to work, driving, studying. You watching me right now, you're in beta. Okay, this is one of the most active. Don't quote me. I don't remember the exact amount of hertz, but it's up there. Something like maybe 15 to 20. I don't know. Don't quote me. But it's way more active. Okay, you have beta. Then right below it, you have alpha. Alpha is a slower brain wave, which is more of a hypnotic state. Think of it as you like watching a movie. When you're watching a movie, what are you actually doing? You're just staring at a black box that's projecting images, right? You're basically in a hypnotic state. You're still active, you're still awake, but you're still there. Another way that you can see that is like if you're driving. Have you ever imagined when you're like driving and you were like on the phone or something, and then 20 minutes has gone by and you end up driving, you're like, holy shit, like I just drove and I don't remember anything, right? Your brain was just like in like this hypnotic state. That is known as alpha. You're still awake, but it starts to like become self-perpetuating and stuff like that, right? So we have beta, alpha, then next one we have is theta. Theta is the first time that we find out that the conscious mind starts to go to sleep and the subconscious mind becomes more active. Okay, this is actually the key one that we want to be in, because conscious mind is asleep, subconscious becomes more active, becomes more susceptible. This is when your body is asleep but your mind is awake. This is a key. This is the key right here. If you want to know like how all of these meditations come into play, this is the secret one that you want to get into. And then the final one we have is delta. Delta is just passed out. You're sleeping. Okay, that's right. You're gone. You're in deep sleep. Okay, delta now. So the trick that we want to do is we want to get into theta. Okay, which like I said, don't quote me. It's around 4 hertz. 4 hertz. But here's the thing. Now, why am I telling this to you? Why does this matter? Well, let's go back to the theory that I was telling you about, where the CIA came in and the gateway process and why these meditations all work. We found out that we all know that the ears can't actually hear 4 hertz. That's really, really soft pitch. That's something only dogs can hear. The human ear cannot hear 4 hertz. But what the gateway found out is that through sound waves, what will happen is through frequency following patterns, let's just say you put 100 hertz in one ear. Hertz is a measurement of sound. You put 100 hertz in one ear, and then you put 104 hertz in another ear. What they found out is that the equal, so in this case 100, would cancel out, and whatever's left over, the brain will start to create this vibrato, this vibration that would only be heard through the brain. That was actually a simulation. It wasn't an actual real sound. And what you would hear is a woo, 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 woo. Right? You would hear like this vibration sound that wasn't actually real. Because what you'd find out if you put in one, I actually have headphones here because I was doing one earlier. So if let's just say there's 100 hertz in this ear and 104 in this ear. What you'll actually hear is like if I just put one here, it'll be a solid tone. Zzz. And if I put one in this ear, it'd be a solid tone. Zzz, but it'd be 104 and 100. The 100 would cancel out inside the brain, and what would be left over is 4, which goes back to here, our theta. And what you'd able to do is manipulate the brain as if you had been a monk for 20 years and start to take your brain from a flashlight into a laser by simply listening to a sound. And you would be at 4 hertz, which if you see here is theta. So you could, in a way, manipulate your mind to be in a sleep-like state, put your body to sleep while your conscious mind is still awake, and start to project the vision of what you want in your C-type magnificent obsession, and it becomes more powerful and more amplified and more susceptible to be planted to the subconscious mind. And if you do that repetitiously, which you learn, which amplifies it, you're going to start to see it manifest. And that you find out that you can bend this matrix to your reality, and you can start to live in a simulation and start to become the developer and the creator of it. Does that make sense? This is not really a place where you could download information, maybe, but this is where you would want to plant it. It's a very, very powerful meditation. And by the way, you can incorporate that to almost all of these other meditations. You can do straight Hemisync meditation. Or what you can do is you can do add Hemisync to all the other meditations. Like if you do my quantum jump meditation, you'll notice that there's a Hemisync behind it. So you can do gratitude, visualization, self-talk, deep sleep, all of these you can incorporate a Hemisync behind it, knowing that these sound waves that you're listening to are actually putting you in a theta state where it becomes more susceptible to you being in a sleep-like state where you can accept it. But there's many mistakes that people do that may have tried it before that you're most likely going to run into. Which, by the way, I did this for 2 years and I didn't know the mistakes that I had until later on. So that's why you want to sometimes hire a coach, and that's what I give to my clients so they don't make the same mistakes. Because I went through all 40 of those meditation. It took me a month. Literally 3 to 4 hours a day of meditation, going through the Hemisync, going through the studies, going through the workbooks. I really obsessed about this because I really enjoyed it. And even after all of that, I still made many, many mistakes that I didn't catch till years later. And that's what I give to my clients so they don't make the mistakes and they can go faster, right? So implement a Hemisync and go there, okay? Whew, we're not done yet, guys. I know you're really enjoying this one. You guys like this style of video? Let me know in the comments below. I was trying to film this video yesterday on a whiteboard, but it wasn't resonating with me. I kept feeling like energetically stuck. But then right before, I was just going to do a screen recording just like this, but then I got this kind of intuition to do both. To like be here where I'm most active. Obviously I have my notes right here where I teach and stuff. And then I can just go to the whiteboard whenever I want to. I think it's kind of fun. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go to the last one here, which is one, I'll be completely honest, I don't use often. I haven't used in some time, but it was something that it's really intriguing when you listen to the science behind it, and you may have heard this from Dr. Joe Dispenza. This is called a mind movie, okay? A mind movie is a particular style of meditation where we use a kaleidoscope, music, affirmations to trigger the subconscious mind. So here's the science behind this. So now that you know brainwaves, if you stare at a movie, or in this case a kaleidoscope, what you're able to do is put your brain from beta, alpha, and then into theta. Maybe somewhere between alpha and theta. You can stare at a kaleidoscope. If you guys know what a kaleidoscope is basically, as a kid, you know how you used to look at that little thing, and inside it had all those colors and geometry and in the matrix, right? That's a kaleidoscope. Well, through science, I don't know all the science behind it. Don't cover me. I just use this stuff to earn millions of dollars and teach it to clients and use it for my life, right? So I could probably get better at it. So with the science, they found out that if you stare at a kaleidoscope for a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, what you're able to do is the same thing that we learned at Hemisync. You're able to take your brain from a beta wave to between alpha and theta. And then what will happen after a few minutes, you'll transition the kaleidoscope to playing certain visualizations of the things that you want to manifest. Play the car, see the money, see the business, see the fame, see the family, whatever it is that you want to manifest. Start to play. What you do is you source these content and you put it all into a custom little video, and you start to see yourself, and you put a song behind it, a song that you enjoy, a song that inspires you, a song that can begin to trigger you and trigger your subconscious mind, like training a dog. If you play a certain whistle or something and it starts to get, salivate at the mouth because you start grabbing the food, that's an example. You can trigger the subconscious mind with this certain song because you've activated the images of visualization, backed it with this song after you've done the kaleidoscope, and you start to actually open up the subconscious mind. Then you play the song with the visualization, and then you can drift off to sleep. You can combine it like that, sleep like meditation, or you can go about your day. Because what you're doing is you're impressing on the subconscious mind through a different frequency so that you can accept it. It's something I did for a period of time. I stopped doing it, but a lot of my clients are really interested in it. So maybe I can create a training behind how that works and add it in. And you guys can kind of see example of what that is. But guys, that's exactly the 10 different meditations that I do. I know it's a lot, and all of them are at a certain place. Here's the important part that you need to realize. Don't leave yet. It's that the proper use of these meditations, knowing when and where, is the key. It's just because, just like fighting, go back to the UFC example. Just because I teach you how to punch, teach you how to do groundwork, doesn't mean that you're a professional fighter. You might know it, but if I put you in the ring, you're going to get your ass kicked, right? This is years and years of study, years of knowing when to do a certain style of meditation, what to do, what not to do, how long, what sounds, what music, when to do them, these different things, what mistakes that you're using. These are very important things that you can go do this and still find failure, because it just takes experience. And then I've dedicated my life to this for the last 5 years. I've earned $2 million in the process, over 500 high-ticket clients, thousands if you add in the lower ticket products under $500, and that's what we've been able to do. So I highly recommend that you need to learn how to do this, and you need to do it with repetition. What I've just talked about right now, you need to watch this video 1,000 times until you click it, until it works for you, so that you understand it. What most people do is they'll click off this video and go watch something else because they got satisfied and still be broke motherfuckers. That's not you. You're here to get rich. You're here to build the reality that you want. You're here to earn 7 and 8 figures, and you're gonna have to do it in a certain way. You're gonna have to do it in a certain way. The only way to do it in a certain way is just to think in a certain way. That's how you're gonna do it. There's a missing gap that you have. And you need to bridge the gap between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Watching more YouTube videos is not going to change your life. Let me tell you that right now. Even this YouTube video, it's helpful, but it will not change your life. I'm just telling you what to do, but how to do it, you got to learn how to do that. And that's the key right there. That's the difference that you have to learn how to do, whether on your own or with the coach. But it's not just gathering more information and watching another YouTube video. All right, so that's going to be today's video. If you want help to do this, 5 years of experience, multiple 7 figures, and a step-by-step system that's proven by somebody that's done it before in a community of other people, and that sounds like you, and you want to get faster, you want to do it faster so you can save time and money, so you can get away from inconsistent results, so you can get away from being stuck and finally start to hit those 7-figure levels, then what I would like you to do is reach out to me. Click the first link in the description below. Watch a quick little video that I have there, then book a call with me or my team, and we'll hop on a call with you and tell you more about our program, where I teach all of these. How to do them, when to do them, with the sound waves. I map out your routine for you. Like, you don't need to go figuring this shit out, because some people are going to go figure this out. They're going to take a year. I guarantee you at least a year to kind of figure all these out, what they do and when to do them. You don't have that kind of time. You rather just spend a little bit of money. It's a nice amount of money to work with me. I'll be honest, right? But I'm going to get you results. I will get you results because I love this stuff. And we'll teach you what to do in a systemized way. If that sounds like you, click first link in the description. If not, get out there, try it yourself. And here's what I would recommend if you don't have the money or you want to wait. Use what I have for free here on YouTube. Go out there, apply it, make a little bit of money. Make $10,000, make $20,000, make $30,000, make $100,000. Once you see that this works, come and hire me at that point, because then we can compress time frames to make it go faster. That's what I did. I was stuck sleeping in a car for 5 months. I was stuck sleeping on couches for many years. And it wasn't until I hired Bob Proctor that my life began to change. I spent money to get money. I spent it on my grandpa's credit card. I didn't have the money, but I knew I needed to change. What I was doing wasn't working. So I put $5,000 on my grandpa's credit card, became a consultant with Bob, committed to payments of $3,000 a month when I was only making $1,000 driving for Uber at the time. 45 days later, I'm making $100,000 a month. My life was different after that, and life was never the same. And I've dedicated my life to this material, as you can see here. I really love this. I love teaching it. I love living it. I live it from the front. I amplify myself, and then I come on YouTube and I teach it to you so you can live in a similar way and you can bend the matrix to your reality. This is your man, Mr. Law of Attraction. Subscribe below. If you want to work with me, hit that first link in the description. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.